Hello.
Good morning.
Good
I'm Jen.
morning. I'm Kimberly, and this is
that
that
Vegan
Vegan Morning Show. And today we have a very special guest with us. Hi, Deanna. Welcome.
Hi,
Deanna.
good
Nice to meet you
morning.
today.
Nice to see your big smiles this morning.
This is our favorite way to start a Monday. The smiles
Exactly.
come easily. The waking up a little less so, but the smiles come pretty easily.
We always have a good time. This is like my favorite Monday morning activity. And then, yeah, it's the only time I enjoy Monday. So, Deanna, before we learn more about you and you talk about your work, me and Kimberly like to share about our weekends. So, Kimberly, did you want to go first and lead the charge on the weekend?
Sure. Yeah. My weekend was fine. I stayed up way too late last night watching WWE's premium live event Evolution, which is an all women's wrestling premium live event. So that was amazing. Very disappointing that the first one was in 2018 and they didn't do the second one until last night. But hopefully, based on the response that they've gotten, because the crowd was so into it and the matches were so good. So hopefully, they'll consider making that an annual event like a lot of their other live events are. How about you, Jen? How was your weekend?
Wow, that sounds exciting to watch. I didn't even know about this.
It was really cool.
Go women. And that seems very relevant for the conversation we're about to have in a little bit too.
It does.
My weekend was good. I went into the city and met up with some old coworker friends of mine, and we met, and they're not vegan, but they were willing to go to Francia Vegan Cafe, which is a really delicious restaurant in New York City. They do like Korean and a lot of Asian dishes. Their food's amazing. And they were so happy. They were willing to try it. So it's always nice when you have non-vegan friends willing to try an all vegan restaurant, and they were raving about the food. So that was really exciting. And then yesterday I went to the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors. They do this like art church event, which is like meditation and art. And I always do these interesting creations for my meditation. So yeah, it was like a nice recharging weekend.
I love it.
Deanna, what about you?
Oh, goodness. So I moved back to Texas about 2 years ago. This is where I'm from. And so I have lots of family and friends here, but they're not vegan. And so a couple weeks ago, I was talking with my husband about how I miss being part of a vegan community. So I got on Meetup and I've been doing some other things. And so this weekend, I spent a lot of time meeting other vegans in my area, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
That is fun. That's really great.
That's awesome. It's so important to have community and community that gets you.
Yes, this is so true. I'm the only vegan in my family, so community to tap into, whether it's online or meetups, has been extremely important for me as well.
I've got my husband and my mom, which I think sometimes, well, it's amazing, first of all, that they're both vegan, but I think sometimes it maybe makes me not seek out like in-person community in the same way because I kind of have it so close to home. But now I'm feeling inspired to do that. So thank you both.
Enjoy.
I will. Thank you.
And I see we have 4 viewers right now. So if you can drop in the comments where you're watching from and any questions that you have during our conversation, that'd be great because we want you to be a part of the conversation as well.
Absolutely. So before we dive in, I'd love to introduce everyone to Deanna. So Deanna Meyler, what was that?
Oh, I just said hi, Deanna.
Oh,
sorry.
All good live, Deanna Meyler cares strongly about social justice and has been vegan since 1998. Amazing. Today, she is the director of development at the Lancaster Cleft Palate Clinic. It is the only independent nonprofit and approved craniofacial care clinic in the United States that accepts all patients, no matter their background or ability to pay. In the past, Deanna led a small nonprofit focused on animal rights and was part of the advocacy team at large immigration rights nonprofit, worked in advertising and consulting for a decade, and was in academia for a decade. Deanna has a PhD in sociology, advanced certification in community leadership, and is a master certified vegan lifestyle coach and educator, and has a certification in plant-based nutrition. She's the founder of An Everyday Vegan, a lifestyle website. Deanna's personal mission is to make the world a better place, one meal at a time. Welcome,
Thank
Deanna.
you.
That's amazing. You're amazing.
Definitely. I am so impressed with all the different things you have going on in your background. And so I've been really looking forward to this conversation to learn more about you and just all the wonderful work that you're doing.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we wanted to talk a lot today about an organization where I met you, Women Funders and Animal Rights. Can you tell us what it is?
Absolutely. So Women Funders and Animal Rights is a giving circle, which is kind of a newer player in the philanthropy field. It's been around for a while, but not as many people are involved in them or as familiar with them as other giving outlets. So what happens is a bunch of us come together, women, women funders, we're women and non-binary. We come together and we pool our pennies so that we can give that money to organizations that fit our mission, which is small women-led animal rights organizations. And we do that because as women in the movement, women outside the movement, and who care and learn, we've come to find, and many of us have experienced, that it can be very challenging as a woman in the movement, particularly a woman leader in the movement, to get the same kind of attention and funding that other groups are able to get. And so we feel like we fill a niche that we hope inspires others to want to give to these amazing organizations.
That's really incredible and so important. Go ahead, Jen.
No, I was going to say that's a really, sorry, I keep talking over you. We can't get it right this morning. Oh, no, I was going to say your mission is really beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was founded years before I joined for this reason. There were a group of women recognizing changes happening in the movement. It was during Me Too. And, they were saying, women just aren't getting the same attention. The organizations aren't getting the same support financially that they could deserve and could really use. And so, our grants aren't huge. We give, when an organization applies, the largest amount they can apply for is $10,000, but that's a lot of money to a small woman-led organization. It could be a game changer. It could help them build some capacity. It could help them launch a project they've wanted to do. It could just help them pay the bills for a little while they keep working and attracting other attention.
I love that. And it's such a welcoming group too. I love being on the calls because there are so many incredible women and everybody is so smart and really is considerate of like what the whole purpose is, that like never gets lost. We're always there for a reason. And it just is really incredible the way everyone is always like building each other up, and there's always an opportunity to help each other out outside of being part of that giving circle. And it really just creates this really important place that women need, because even though when you look at the numbers, it still seems like more women are vegan than men are, but somehow we still have so many like white men leading these big organizations. And so to have the opportunity to have an organization that is helping the smaller women-led ones start to grow and to be able to be part of the movement, I just like, every time I think about it, I'm just so overwhelmed by how amazing it is.
I love that you enjoy it so much. And I'll add, we haven't talked about what the experience is for members beyond the fact that we give money, right? Which is very rewarding. It's incredible. But we try. So I'm part of what's called the leadership committee. We're a group of volunteers that help make the giving circle function. And we try really hard to make the organization more than just giving. So we bring together our members, and why would you stay a member if you weren't getting anything out of it? And so we do networking, and we do conversations relevant to animal rights and women in animal rights, and just try to, like you said, Kimberly, lift up everybody, give us all a space to learn and grow and get to know one another. And we're not all leaders in the animal rights movement. Many of us are people on the outside that just really want to be part of something that's meaningful to us. And we take, as a leadership committee, we take that very seriously. Like, we want everyone to feel like part of something and not just giving their money, because we can do that in so many ways as individuals, but to come together for a mission is very special.
Another thing that I think is so awesome, I'm sorry, Jen,
Oh, that's okay.
is that it doesn't matter what you give, how much you give, each one of us has the same equal vote. So we all get the information of the organizations who have applied, and each one of us gets to look through all of it, ask questions, push back on things if we need more information, and make really truly educated decisions about where we want to see the money go. And it all comes down to like which organizations get the most votes for them. And it really becomes like, it really is such an equal way to make sure that everybody who's giving gets a vote.
Absolutely. And, if you give the minimum amount, your vote is the same value as someone who's given, $10, $20, $30,000. And the amount of money that we're able to give out each year is dependent on how much money we raise as a group. So, we try to empower all of us to not only give what we can, but hopefully inspire others to give who aren't necessarily wanting to be members, but are excited about what we're trying to accomplish and want to be part of it in some way.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, it just sounds like a really wonderful collaborative space, because I never heard of a place before where you can give as little or as much as you can and everyone's treated equally. So I think that's really, really special. And just hearing how you both are talking about this organization, like, we need this in other spaces for women, because there's not too many safe spaces for women. Like, even though there's been a lot of advancements, and yes, things are a lot better for women now than they were, it's still challenging, especially in corporate America, where we're in a world where it's like, I feel like we're screwed either way, right? If you're a strong leader as a woman, then they see you as a bitch, right? Or, this control freak, right? Like, and then if you don't speak up and take charge, then you're not taken seriously. So I always feel like we're always put in this like double standard as women, and it can be very lonely sometimes in any space of leadership. So I just think that this sounds like a really special group.
I think so, for sure.
Yeah. Why is women funders and animal rights important to you, Deanna, that led you to even become part of the leadership committee?
Well, so I was leading a small animal rights organization, and that's how I learned about women funders, through funding that we received and continued to apply for. And at some point, one of the other members of the leadership committee reached out and said, we love your organization. We love the work you're doing. We've obviously supported you. You might want to learn more about us and maybe join us as a member. And I thought, can I do that? Is that a thing? And so I attended a meeting and was blown away by what I got to experience, and said, yeah, I definitely want to be part of this. But I was leading a small animal rights nonprofit, so I was not making a tremendous amount of money. And that they were like, that's okay. You don't have to give at large amounts. And so I joined the group, and there was some things happening that I was really wanting to talk about and dig into. And so I raised my hand to be part of the leadership committee so that I could help move those things forward. And they were like, bring it, let's do this. And then I left the organization I was leading and went to the next thing. It was just time. And now it's really my way to stay connected to the movement. So I don't work in the animal rights movement anymore. I'm tertiary, which is good and bad, right? Like when you're in it, there's so much going on, and there's the minutia of it. And being outside is a very different experience because, of course, now I'm involved in the minutia of the organization that I'm part of now. But this helps me feel like I'm still contributing in a positive and important way to me, which I really value. And so that's why I stay part of the organization. I can't imagine leaving Women Funders right now. And I really enjoy being able to be part of the leadership committee and helping make sure that our meetings are, amazing. And I do all the communications. So I'm consistently emailing our membership, and I get to email all the organizations that applied for funding and let them know what's happened. And so I get a lot of communications and behind the scenes that others never see that are really, really cool. Like, when an organization receives funding, they're just, of course, over the moon about it. Like, why wouldn't you be? And then, the organizations that don't receive funding, we give resources to them. Like, here are free resources you can take advantage of that could potentially help you continue to grow. And, please apply again in the future. It's always so, we had this last cycle, we had 65 applicants. Actually, more than that, we had closer to 85 applicants, and we funded 6. So, the chances are not as high as we would like. We have to raise more money to give out more money. But that doesn't mean someone should be discouraged from trying again.
What is the application process for organizations to receive funding?
So there's some basic criteria that they have to meet. So they have to be led by a woman. Mm-hmm. They have to have a budget that fits within our requirements, which right now is less than $500,000. They have to be an animal rights organization. And then after that, the application itself, I find to be pretty simple. As a leader of an organization that used to fill out our application, it's like, what's your website? What's your mission? What are you trying to accomplish? We try very hard to make it simple, but in particular because we invite international organizations to apply, and they don't always have English as their first language. And so if our application was hyper confusing, they would just feel like they couldn't apply at all. So that's something we try to keep in mind as members of the organization when we're reading through the applications. Like, these may not be English as a first language applications, and that's okay. Just, let's be patient and learn what we can, because it's not fair for us to assume that everyone speaks English, because, much of the world does not. So like I said, we try to keep the application pretty easy. It's on our website, although we're kind of switching websites right now, so it's down, but that's okay because our next cycle isn't till next spring, so it's going to be a while before we read through applications again.
And how long does that process take? Because you were saying so the cycle starts again in spring. So how long does it take to review applications and then let people know if they've been accepted or not?
It takes us a little while, particularly when we have 85 applications for every person to read through. So I think we close applications mid-April. Mm-hmm. And then the one person pulls everything, gets it all organized, meaning like if anyone doesn't fit basic criteria, they get put in the, didn't meet criteria folder. Everyone else is, everyone else is put into a spreadsheet. And then all that information is sent out to everyone in Women Funders and Animal Rights. We all get about 2 to 3 weeks to read through it for the first time and come and meet as a group and talk about any any questions we have, any moments we want to explore with everybody. And that happens in May, early May. And then we have what's called the lightning round, where we are all invited to submit our top 10 organizations based on our own personal reading of applicants. That information is compiled into a master list, and the top organizations that, the ones that rise to the top in that lightning round, we are then given that list as membership. All the members are given that list, and we're given a moment to request any additional due diligence. Like maybe we have a burning question that we really feel like the organization needs to answer. So then we reach out to those organizations and say, hey, there's this question that came up. Can you please answer it? And we give them a little time. And so as an organization, we are typically ready to let people know in late June, early July. Just depends on our cycle and how it's going. This year, we were able to let everybody know in late June. Next year, it's probably going to be early July, just because we're changing some things internally. So it takes a little while. So that's April, May, June. May, June. We were talking about 3 months to make all this happen.
Just want to highlight the comment we got here. Agreed.
Cindy's the best.
Jen, you had a really great question. I don't want us to run out of time before you ask it. That you mentioned before we started. Do you want to ask Deanna now?
Oh, yes. Oh my God, the time is just flying by. Well, thank you, first of all, for explaining the process, because I felt any organization that's watching, if they were interested, I felt it would be great for them to just know what was involved. And I just wanted to also add real quick before asking my question that I really think it's great that you make the application as inclusive as possible to make it easy for anyone to apply. So I just wanted to mention all of that. Yeah, when I was talking to Kimberly before you came on, I was not aware about all the challenges that women experience in the vegan activist movement sect of the world and in life. And I just wanted to understand, like, what are some of the challenges that women do deal with in the vegan movement? Because this was really new to me.
It's such a big question, and I'm so glad you both warned me it could come. So I would say that the vegan movement isn't necessarily unique to any other social justice movement. Even in my own dissertation research and some of the writings that you can see from like Angela Davis, women are traditionally put in women's roles, caretaking roles. They're not placed in or expected to take on leadership roles necessarily. And this is, a while that this has been happening. This is not new. And so when we look at women in the animal rights movements and the number of women involved doing the actual work compared to the number of women in leadership roles, it's stark how different it is. And frustrating as a woman. The other piece of that is, like I said before, this particular organization came out in part during the Me Too movement. So there was a whole Me Too in animal rights where women were coming forward and saying, not only are we pushed into traditionally female roles, but we're also dealing with the misogyny and the, the ick of being a woman in the world that values men more a lot of times. And so, it creates an environment where men can think it's okay to, be kind of gross. And so, that's part of why Women Funders came to be, trying to support an area that doesn't get enough support women who don't always get enough support. And then, as an organization that anyone can give to Women Funders, we're not going to say no to funds that will help another small woman-led organization. But not everyone can be a member of our group. right? So you have to be a woman, or non-binary, and hopefully you care about animal rights. And there is a small application process to become a member. And so we get in a really amazing group of people who recognize the value of what we're giving to the animal rights movement. And a lot of women who are like, I'm in the movement and I need this space. Like, I value the fact that I am sharing space with other women in the movement, and we can talk about some of these really sensitive issues in a way that's not sensitive in this space. But if we were to take these conversations outside of it, it could be challenging for us to even start a conversation.
Wow, that sounds really important. And yeah, and of course, this kind of, like, I love what you said, ick. Right? That's like it's a very elegant way to sum it all up, right? Yeah, it there's a lot of that, and it's like, thinking about it, like, yeah, why wouldn't that also be in these spaces? But I think, again, I haven't thought about it. And so when Kimberly had mentioned that to me, I was like, oh, wow. and yeah, even more of it sounds like a really special niche, in that not only you're creating this space for women, but you're doing it in the animal rights, and in there as well. So I feel like that's really important.
Well, and personally, I label myself as an ecofeminist. So I really feel strongly that the way that we treat the world around us reflects the way that we treat each other and ourselves. And in our world, we don't value things that are considered feminine or female. So yeah, as a movement, it makes sense that it would come out in this way, that we don't always feel valued as women in the movement either.
I think too, the fact that how we're doing it as members of women funders is we're using money, which is so typically considered a male thing. Men are the caretakers, they make the money, they lead organizations, and we're coming together and we're saying, hold on, we've got money too. And we're going to make sure that we're bringing up people who are doing meaningful work that aren't getting the funding and the recognition that they deserve.
And that's really coming out right now in the research about development in general, is giving circles are really changing the philanthropic landscape, with women coming together and changing things. And I think that's so cool. And I'm so proud to be part of it.
Me too.
Yeah, and I like what you brought up there, Kimberly. Yeah, because like what you said, right? There's these old school Stone Age beliefs that, men make the money and women are just supposed to be the caretakers and be told what to do, right? So it's nice that. And I haven't even heard of giving circles until, Kimberly mentioned you. So I'm going to definitely look into more about women funders and animal rights. Is there anything else you would like us to know, or viewers to know, about women funders?
I would say check us out, learn more about us. If you're inspired, join us. Like I said, you don't have to be heavily involved in the animal rights movement to be part of what we're trying to accomplish. I'm not anymore. Like, I'm vegan. That's my entry into it, right? Like, I care about the topic. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not, in the streets or in the classroom talking about these things all the time. You don't have to be. You just have to care about what we're trying to accomplish. And we'd love to, meet you.
I love it. I am definitely interested. Oh, and Kimberly just shared the link in the comments, and I'm definitely sold and want to check it out more for sure, because I think it is such important work, and I'm trying to make more of an impact as well. And I feel like this just sounds like a really wonderful space. So thank you for coming on here to talk more about it.
Well, thank you for having me and letting me share. I love this organization and the work that we're doing, but there's not a lot of platforms to talk about it. So I really appreciate you letting me share.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, if you're catching the replay, make sure that you put in the comments any of your thoughts, any questions that you have, and Jen and I will get back to you, of course. Let us know where you're watching from, and make sure that you check out Women Funders and Animal Rights. And if you're not a woman, then click the link to donate.
Because you can still support.
That's right.
Deanna, it was so nice meeting you. Thank you again for showing up so early to have this really great conversation with us.
Thank you both. I hope you have a beautiful week.
That's hard.
All right, we'll see you, the rest of you, next Monday, bright and early.